87 is what I looked up on the national site.
Test.
I'm going to go with the 87. It's easy because I can't read it.
Okay, everyone, thanks for coming out tonight. We're at the Northern Neck Regional Jail. It is December 29th, 2023. It is day 1087 of the January 6th saga. And as always, we'll start off with a short little prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, during this time of the holidays, the Christmas season, and New Year's, your blessings are obvious in the calls and the accolades and the thanks that we've heard from the January 6ers whose lives have been touched by everyone who writes letters, the vigils themselves, and it's just very, very clear. So Lord, thank you so much for uplifting their spirits. I know that everyone feels the same way, but the majority of the people that we talk to are definitely guided by your strength. And as always, we pray that you give strength to the people inside this jail, that they make the right decisions, and they always remember that they're dealing with fellow human beings when they go about their daily business. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so yeah, we're expecting maybe a little bit of a rain coming through, but hopefully we'll keep that away. I will try to get to reading the names of the January 6ers who have been through the Northern Neck Regional Jail. But first of all, one of the things that I think is really important to do that I have not been doing traditionally, oh, I can see just fine, thanks, Steve. Yeah, that'll be fine with all that light. To remember the people who died on January 6th. A lot of people don't even still today realize that no police officers were killed on January 6th. And the people who died were unfortunately people that were protesters for the most part. Of course, we know Ashley Babbitt, Benjamin Phillips, Brian Sicknick, Kevin Greason, and Roseanne Boylan. So hearts and minds and prayers go out to those folks, as always. I looked on the famous NPR website just today, and the total charge for January 6th is now up to 1,232. Just a couple weeks ago, it was in the 1170s or 1180s, something like that. So again, and if you look on there and you see the types of people that are being arrested, it's again, I'm too close to the heat. Do you want to switch? You want to move over there? Or are you fine? It's up to you. I'm going to have to move away from that a little bit. But yeah, I just read of a person who they looked through information that somebody provided to the FBI, photographs and so on. She was in the Capitol for all of 15 minutes after most of the rambunctiousness was done. She was in and out. She was there with her, she was 56 years old. She was there with her mother, so she went in to make sure that her mother was going to be okay. I don't know what happened with the mother. But you know, so she got some fairly serious charges that, again, the usual for parading in the Capitol building is a big one. And yeah, I think she ended up with 2 weeks in jail and a series of fines and so on, but probably big attorney's fees and so on too. And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight is, can I ask you to hold that for me? Just give me this second. These two sheets. So does anybody know Brandon Strzok? His last name is spelled Straka, S-T-R-A-K-A, but it's pronounced Strzok. Walk away. Walk away, USA. So thanks, Maurice. That's absolutely right. Brandon let's see, a little background on him. Let me give you that first. So he's 45 years old. He's from New York, and he was a self-described former liberal and the founder of the Walk Away campaign, a movement that encourages and supports those on the left to walk away from the Democratic Party. According to an FBI affidavit, following a tip the FBI received about Straka's alleged involvement in the January 6th riot, federal investigators reviewed his social media channels and found an hour-long video he posted of himself that day after the attack on the Capitol. It goes on from there. But disorderly conduct in the Capitol building was his main charge. Again, he didn't do anything other than speak and then record it and then speak about it afterwards. He pleaded guilty to that single charge. He was sentenced on January 24th of 2022 to 36 months of probation and 90 days of location monitoring home confinement, $5,000 fine, $500 restitution, and $10 special assessment, and 80 hours of community service. But it didn't stop there, because he was then the victim of a civil lawsuit by 8 black and brown police officers from the Capitol Police, and he was sued under the KKK Act, alleging that he violated, he's talking about this one officer, Fortune is his last name, by the way. Officer Fortune sued me under the KKK Act, alleging that I violated his civil rights and that I conspired with white supremacists to commit assault and battery against him on January 6th. In discovery, we were able to compel Officer Fortune to answer exactly where he was when I allegedly caused his assault and battery and violated his civil rights. His response: I was in Annapolis, Maryland. When asked what the nature of his injuries were that he was suing me for, he responded, exposure to pepper spray, bear spray, fire extinguishers, and other pollutants, heightened stress and anxiety, and exhaustion and soreness. In addition to never having seen or met Officer Fortune in my entire life, and I didn't spray any. Officer Fortune's attorneys at the Soros-funded law firm Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law approached me and my attorney for a financial settlement. Initially, they told us that they could not calculate the value of Officer Fortune's injuries without first having access to my bank statements to assess my net worth. I'll let that one sink in for a second. So it gets better. Okay. Obviously, he told them to go get blanked. Then they returned and told us that for $120,000, they would drop the lawsuit against me by Officer Fortune and the other 7 black and brown Capitol Police officers. I had no contact with any of these officers on January 6th and have never met any of them. I also had no contact with any officers on January 6th and was never accused of any officers on January 6th and was never accused or charged with any violent crimes or acts of violence. Once again, I told them to go get blanked. And now, the remaining counts against me of assault and battery were dismissed, and the case is now over. This case has clearly demonstrated how the left will use their lies about racism and white supremacy and their lies about J6 to game the system, knowing these false allegations carry weight and power, and that they can be used to drag people through the legal system through settlement or judgment. Any police officer who participated in the scam should be forced to retire in disgrace. And that was a post that he put on X just on 12/18, so just a little bit ago.
I saw that particular post. And I think there's another short clip of him talking about it.
Yeah, he's been quite active out there.
I follow him.
Hey, Lindy, thanks for joining in here.
Just because I thought it was worthwhile. And then there were some things that just kind of...
I don't know if you want to get your face too close to this thing, so it's your choice.
I don't, but I'll yell.
Speak louder than you. It'll pick you up if you talk to them. I could actually move it in a little bit too.
Where's the other microphone?
I didn't bring it. I thought it was going to rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
He's been
that.
sick all week. I've been trying to. He was sick for a couple of days, but
big mass awakening to nutrition and things that actually work. It's all good. It's all good.
Maurice, go ahead and say what you're saying, and I'll ask if anybody can hear you.
So I was following Brandon for like a year and a half, and then I got distracted, and it seemed like he had changed direction, and so he dropped off the radar for a while. And then recently, over his J6 issues, he's picked up steam in what appears to be yet a new direction, but it's a good direction. And so I've been paying more attention to him lately. There's another guy that Cheryl pointed out that I need to pay more attention to, though. The guy that does George Magazine.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Thank you, Lindy.
Gene.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Cool. So,
What was
he's
the other
been,
name?
Following. He's been.
what's his name?
Gene Ho.
Gene Ho. The guy that does the new
think that's it,
rendition
right?
of George Magazine. Got some crazy stuff. Just awesome.
That is his name. For some reason, it doesn't sound right. Gene.
So yeah, we watched the video we had, and John was one of maybe, I think you were on that one too.
I sent all my followers a message about James Grant, and that those who are listening, if you know who James Grant is, he's one of the J6ers, and he is in need of video footage. If you see him on January 6th around 2:45, he needs video footage of him stopping protesters from breaking windows. And
Yeah, so,
this is what he looks like. I don't know if I can
yeah,
get it in there.
that'll work.
So
Bring it in closer to right here. Okay. Yep.
that's what he looks like. Video footage of him. There's a $1,000 reward to those who find something that could help him with his trial. And I think his father had said that he's putting in $500 and a Patriot is matching it. So
James is in D.C. right now?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
a $1,000 reward. Everybody look at those J6 videos and see if you can find him. He said he's all the way on top of the Capitol.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember, God, it's been months and months and months. There was a video of a guy doing exactly what you're saying that I saw, and I couldn't tell you where I saw it.
I actually sent the same message out to some folks over at Stop Hate. They've got a lot of that video footage, and I don't think that they were able to find anything because they were looking. But I mean, think about it. There's just so much. I mean, we're talking not just the Capitol footage. We're talking all the cell phones and open source stuff.
Actually, you need artificial intelligence to do the search, because humans can't search fast enough. There's 40,000 hours. It's going to take a human 40,000 hours.
Did
But
you
artificial
contact?
intelligence can go through it just
Did,
like that.
did you contact Dave Sumrall over there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If anybody can find it, he can. Yeah, he's really sharp.
He's really sharp, and he's also very, very quick to respond. And I was just amazed. He must be so busy with all of this
is.
he's involved in.
Yeah, he spoke to our Breakfast Club group a few weeks back.
Really?
And he Zoomed us.
Okay.
But he had like a dead stop. He needed to stop so he could go to another meeting. He totally missed his stop. He got so into talking to us that I know he was late for his next meeting. But he's just so passionate about what he's doing. And our group is donating to him.
Gene, can you maybe come closer? Can you talk a little bit about Stop Hate? He's been around now for quite a few years, right? Because his organization is not just sprung up over J6. It's just about in general. I mean, the name of the group, Stop Hate,
Right.
It's about really let's pierce through these labels that they're putting on people and
Yes.
trying to divide us with, right? Isn't that pretty much
He
the
was
gist
so
of it?
funny with that title too. He said, "Stop Hate" sounds like a liberal group, doesn't it? You
Yeah,
know.
right.
And he said, "But that's what we're doing, is stopping the hate and getting the truth out there." If you contact him, any of the Breakfast Club groups or anybody wanting him to talk to you, he's very open to speaking.
Okay.
And he zooms really good, you know. And like I said, he got so into it. I know he missed his stop that he was supposed to have a hard stop so he could go leave, you know. And but he's wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I wanted to say that, and if anybody knows about this, I heard this, and the source I got it from, I'm pretty sure it's true. Our group donated to 3 of the J6ers a couple weeks ago, and we heard Jonathan Mellis got sentenced last week, I think, and they took all the money out of his Give, Send, Go. The government did.
I was at that sentencing, and they took a big chunk of it, which is very interesting because I'm trying to figure out how they're doing it, but I believe it's you can't raise money off of a crime, is what I think they're doing.
Is that how they're getting it?
Yeah, so you know, they think that raising it for your attorney's fees is one thing, but I've seen that recently, and it might be, I can't remember where, but yeah, I think that's what it is. You would think they also want to know what's in your bank account. I mean, it's the same thing what I said earlier, you know, and then they decide what you can pay. It's like, wait a minute, if I'm fortunate enough to have saved a little bit of money and have, you know, 20 grand in the bank, and somebody else who doesn't, you're going to take mine and not charge the other guy? It just doesn't make sense.
I think one of the underlying implications there is that if you're financially destitute, you would not get messed with.
Well, we just spoke to Jonathan Mellis a few weeks ago. Jen Baker knows him, and he called in and spoke to our group. So if you go, I already post that? Our Breakfast Club has a page on the Matthews County Republican Committee website, mcrcva.com. And if I have not already posted that on our Breakfast Club page, I will soon. But we recorded the whole conversation. He was quite a remarkable young man, and we donated $260 to him just a few weeks ago. And it just, I'm so sad that probably the government got that. You know, that is just ridiculous.
I don't have my papers with me from before, but I think he got sentenced to 36 months, so he's looking like maybe March or so before he gets to a halfway house, probably.
I thought I heard 51, but maybe 36 is right.
It may have been 51, but the end result was going to be he's still got a few more months to go.
So here's a question, because I heard, you know, some time ago that some of these guys are getting sentenced and getting no credit for the time that they've done here, DC, or wherever. How does that work? How do you not get credit for time served?
I don't know any of the details of that, but it seems like that shouldn't work at all. I mean, that's another case that why wouldn't it work? It's like the lady who has to report in a couple of weeks or next week. I'm sorry, I've been a little sick, so I don't remember everything here tonight, but she's basically been on home arrest for the past 2 years, and that she still has to go in and serve time, and it doesn't sound like they're counting that house arrest towards that, you know. So she's had an ankle bracelet on since that whole time.
Did they count Jonathan's time?
I don't know. I'll look into that.
I think that's a horrendous wrong.
Everything is wrong.
Well,
I've got some tea with honey in it if anybody cares for it in that thermos. I've got some cups if anyone wants some. You want some?
I guess we gotta witness it.
Not today.
Yeah,
At
it
NNRJ.
looks like
Hey Tamara, thanks for joining.
it looks like there's been some changes made around these parts.
How's that?
Well, the parking lot for this shift seems a little sparse compared to what it was just a few weeks ago.
Well, I mean, numbers could be down, you know. It's hard to say.
I was talking with Cheryl about it, what I would do if I was in Michelle's position. And this seems to be a little bit kind of in line with that.
Yeah. Somebody catching a ride.
Yeah.
Did you see him coming out?
Yeah. Actually saw him arrive. So
We actually saw some car come in with 2 American flags on it.
I remember that. Yeah. Tonight?
yeah,
Tonight,
yeah.
I didn't see it
The
really.
pickup truck, well, he left, dropped somebody off. Dropped somebody off. The other part that was really interesting is that when we got here, the door to that safety garage over there, wide open. It sat that way until a crowd of guys came out to leave to go home. One of them reached in and hit a button and closed the door, but that's not a door that you want to leave open.
Because I don't recognize it.
Right.
They look squad. They recognize mine. I'm not taking the flags down even though my son's visiting.
So, I don't know if you all have looked at the upcoming January 6th events that are out there, but Mickey Withoff and the DC gang are putting on a march. I think it starts at 2 o'clock.
They got permits.
And they have permits, everything's good, and then it goes from there back to over to the vigil and on that. You're not going? Just don't want to go to DC? Yeah. I know also there have been some folks trying to do something in Richmond. Have you heard anything about that? I know Heather was talking about it.
Something about Richmond and maybe something in Williamsburg, but I can't seem to find out any details about anything, for sure.
It would be nice to have something, even if it's just, I mean, we're not in a very prominent place right here, and so I've been kicking around the idea of changing this location, especially we're really dependent upon the weather out here, and maybe trying to find something a little bit more either visible or even go the opposite direction, but just still come together for these guys and still have the vigil. So
John was talking about offering up his basement a while back.
yeah, I don't know. I think he's got some issues in order to get ready for that, but so I don't think that's available. But I want to keep it going. And then the other side of it is what you said, one of you said about Michelle, the new superintendent here. In a way, I'd like to give her almost a little bit of a breathing room and become, hopefully, maybe recognized as more supportive of what they're doing and towards a new era of transparency. I talked about that at the Board of Supervisors meeting at Richmond County. Hopefully that's where we can get to, is that this board, after this over a year of us being there at their every monthly board meeting asking questions, hopefully they get to a place where they're starting to really involve the community and not be so closed doors, which is what they've been here with everything that's going on.
So I think that's a good direction to go. Because you and I have worked with Amy before, and she's nothing but congenial. And it's like we were talking before, how there's the front office, they never see anything, and it would be good to establish and think of it as a working relationship rather than an adversarial.
Well, yeah, and why don't you talk about the board? I mean, you're finished now with your temporary stint as a board supervisor, and what do you think about that experience and going forward, and how we can work with at the board level, which each county has 3 representatives that sit on this board. So, what are your thoughts there?
I think we need to work on the board. Because this is for those members to participate, and before I get too far, you've got the county administrator who sits on this board here, but he doesn't truly have a vote on anything. You've got the sheriffs, and you've got the board members, the board of supervisor members that are on here. But the bylaws for this thing say that they don't have to appoint a member of the board of supervisors. They could just as easily appoint a civilian. And the point there is that whoever sits on the board and has a vote also has the obligation to report back to his board, his home board, the details of what's going on, what they find from every meeting, above and beyond any minutes that are supposed to be being provided. Now, the guy that we had, who I finished his term, the guy that we had sitting over here, he wasn't telling the board of supervisors a word, nothing. So when the board of supervisors went and asked the county administrator, okay, so what's going on? You're over there, and he says, I can't tell you. But this isn't a problem with NNRJ. This is a problem within that particular county. So it's really awkward. That's why I say the boards of supervisors need to understand something. And what they need to understand is, and you and I have talked about this one before, I don't care about their profit. As a taxpayer, I'm happy to contribute money to make it work correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you could
that point needs to be delivered.
You're right, and you could offset a lot of costs with what they're going to the school boards, which again,
yeah, exactly.
they're just taking boatloads of money, and seems like they once we can't seem to get back to pre-COVID levels of funding for our schools, yet
Exactly.
the education is worse.
Exactly. And a lot of that is because of upstream influencers. You've got the Southern Poverty Law Center. You've got a manipulated system at the state level, the LCPI. You've got a whole bunch of other players that are the unions, for example, that are influencing how schools get taught. And the schools will sit there and tell you, we teach to community standards. My question, whose community? It's not mine. So, and people need to pay attention to what's going on in their schools, because that's where the root is taking hold.
Yeah.
That is where we really, truly need to take some serious action. To me, that's a little bit higher. Don't say this to these guys because I'll never leave them behind, but we got to take care of the schools.
We do. Yeah, there's so much that we need to work on in this country. We know that, but and we've been at the Northern Neck Patriots have been highly focused on this. Our meetings next week, I think we need to really be.
We're not going to be there.
You're not.
Family issues.
Okay, but we need to consider what we really want to work on in the coming year. 2024 is going to be a tremendous year if you think about it.
Like a lightning bolt.
There's going to be a lot happening, and
It's already started, as far as I can tell. And you look what's happening down there in Georgia.
In Colorado.
Yeah, Raffensperger is being reluctant to talk about his system that they found flawed.
Trump's back on the ballot. I didn't think that was going to happen.
It's
Stop.
for Maine. I think it was Maine.
yeah.
Off the plane.
The Secretary of State in Maine took them off unilaterally, and the documentation that was used to do that
Somebody.
is like pseudo case documentation. You know how it's got like this number on the top and everything. It's like, who died and gave you?
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $28.63. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
hey, Chris.
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry we're a little bit late.
No
How
worries.
we doing?
We're doing good.
How we doing, Patriot?
Doing good.
It's I've got to say, this is not Chris, and this is not just the Chris Clyburn 15 Minutes Show. This is the DNC show live from DC in the Gulag. I'm D. Dominic Box here with my man C. I'm Chris Clyburn. So we started doing this a couple days ago or a couple of weeks ago, and it sort of caught on. So we're working on it, you know. We actually got our first fan mail aside from my mom. I think it was today. So, you know, we're going to keep it going. Yeah, we're going to keep it going. And we're not professional radio hosts or anything, but guys, we like covering the news and letting you know that we're not just sitting here playing spades and poker all day. And having grievances.
Is it DNC or C&D? Which is it?
Live from the DC Group Live. You know, we've got play on words over here.
Yeah, I get that.
So, anyway, I guess first up, we have Maine. I'm visiting Maine. I've been recently. President Trump now. I think I'm wrong. It's like the first time there's Colorado. First time since election, this has really happened. What I have to say about that is nothing says democratic democracy like taking away a person's right to vote who they want to. So thanks, Democrats. You know, not to give the Democrats too much credit, and least of all, used car salesman Gavin Newsom. But I love what he had to say about California. He said, you know, because they've got these initiatives all around the country where they're looking to remove President Trump from the ballot before we the people even get a chance to have a say in the matter. And he said, well, I think Gavin Newsom's going to have a hard time this next go around, and he'll never be president or governor again. I like that. You know, it's crazy to see these radical leftist Democrats going around and not even giving people a voice, putting some phony claim that President Trump was involved in an insurrection with. Chris, if I'm not wrong, not a single person's been charged with it? No. Strangely enough, no one's been charged with insurrection, but yet being removed because of the insurrection. Right. And guys, and keep, yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry, I was just agreeing with you. I've got a bad connection, I think. Go ahead.
No, okay. Yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna kind of keep, you know, a lot of the times we talk about the swamp here in DC, but I did want to let you guys know, if you aren't aware, the radical left, woke mob, and cancel culture claimed another scalp. This time in my new hometown but where I live, of Jacksonville, Florida, where first-term Democrat Mayor Donna Deegan, dear Donna, the first Democrat mayor in decades, cannot stop the murders, the drug overdoses, the homelessness, or make downtown a safe place to be after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But what she has done is gone to use private funds, did not get authorization from the city council or the population at large, and decided to remove a Women of the Southland monument to the Women of the Confederacy. Now, I'm not here, to advocate for, slavery or the Confederacy like a lot of the left is going to stay on the outside. But I do know, having lived in Savannah, Georgia, what kind of work goes into or went into these Confederate monuments. I do know, the true history of the Civil War. I know my friends here in Virginia can speak to the removal of monuments as well. I have a real problem with Democrat tyrants going behind the people's backs and just acting with impunity and removing monuments that have been there not just for generations, but were oftentimes paid for by the very families that now seem to have no voice in their communities. And it's really sad because Donna Deegan was able to go to every BL and cater to the woke mob, cater to the radical left and the violent extremists on that side, and then won't even, again, she can't correct any of the very real issues in the city of Jacksonville, but inflamed the city by removing a monument, saying that we're better for it. We can talk about, whether or not that's true, but to make those acts without a vote of the city council or the population at large, I think is the wrong way to go. Yeah, I will call on Governor Ron DeSantis to, when you're not having a failed run for the presidential nomination, to do something about this new tyrant in Jacksonville.
Well, and by the way, we can call them Democrats, but they're really Marxists, and that's part of the Marxist playbook: is dissolve history, remove the monuments, take away any reference to the past, so the new generation will be groundless.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have a couple of stories that are just going to run right into each other. Again, Roe versus Wade, the abortion debate, just the Democrats want the right to kill their own children. But then they want you to pay for all of the illegal migrant children that enter the U.S. illegally from open borders. Which we just learned has nearly tripled in the last 3 years. And Biden's doing a great job. As somebody that's been down to the border, I don't want anybody to kill any kids anywhere, but I certainly don't want myself, Chris, or any of the other American taxpayers to be forced to pay for somebody else's child, least of all those who are being brought across the border illegally for whatever reason. I'm just wondering why no one has impeached Biden over this yet. It's time to step up your game, GOP. You kind of killed 2023. Mike Jackson's in there. Mike Johnson is in there, and he's got to step it up. Things already look chaotic. McCarthy, not going to lock up Hunter and trace up any day that we can deal with it, and orders certainly that we could have real simple action that could defend for the GOP and the American people as a whole. So here at the DNC, we came up with an idea of Governor Abbott. So Governor Abbott, I hear these numbers floating around, transporting illegal immigrants to New York and DC, and these are rookie numbers, man. You gotta think bigger. The movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles comes to mind. Uber and illegal? Uber and illegal, anyone? Uber and illegal. I think that's a great idea. Uber and illegal. You could make it like Texas-like, and you could maybe you get like you get a punch card, and like after what every 5 or 10, you could get like a 50 cal, or free case of SKSs, or it could be on a point system. It worked for the Democrats with the vaccine, the clock shot. They were giving away hamburgers and eggs, Krispy Kreme donuts. I guarantee you, if we start offering lawfully owned or purchased firearms to our friends in Texas, Governor Abbott you could have these folks moved to these Democrat cities overnight. And it was I think the Trump parade, the Trump parade that they had that was over I don't know how many miles long would be the one thing that President Trump would say, you know what, guys, you did it bigger in Texas, because I think this parade of cars going over to New York and Washington D.C., just dropping them off, And I'm not saying we don't want to see anybody get hurt. We don't want to see anybody or anything. But if we do stop them at the border, order an Uber, send them here to the swamp, and if not Hunter Biden, again. I say this to mention, last night we saw on the news for the first time that apparently Washington, D.C. is experiencing the quote-unquote border crisis for the first time. They don't know where to put these people. They don't know how to feed them. I can tell you a great place that we have plenty of food and resources for all of these people. It's right here in the Gulag. I'm in cell 1. Chris is in 14. That's at least 4 beds. We've got plenty of space for these people. I'd gladly trade spots. Absolutely. Believe me, because the food's supposed to be getting better on the first of the year. How you can improve it's happening. But how are we doing on time? We're about 10 minutes in. As you guys know, January 6th is coming along, and there's a buddy of ours. He likes to go by name of the Persecuted Patriot. Truly Persecuted Patriot. So I have a letter that I received from him, and I have the prequel here. He's asking me to read his letter on January 6th, which I guess for you guys will be January 5th. But I would like to do a prequel just to scare up the liberal heads and, you know, make them explode just a little bit prior to January 6th. So without further ado, the Persecuted Patriots prequel. This will be about a 15-minute speech, but it will also, what I was told, will be in the Northern Next Sentinel. So hopefully everything works out, and it'll be released on January 6th. But January 6th was mostly peaceful protest. That's over aggressive MPD force. Lack of planning on the Capitol Police's part didn't help matters. But most of all, January 6th got out of hand due to FBI pre-planning. This included FBI confidential informants, paid instigators, and even undercover feds in the crowd. The FBI knew January 6th was a powder keg ready to explode. They were giving plenty of information prior to January 6th to prove this. The FBI had confidential informants in high-ranking positions in every organization they are now prosecuting. These organizations included, but are not limited to, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, militia groups, and even Antifa. The FBI could have stopped January 6th. They chose not to. Instead, they went through great lengths to make sure January 6th did happen. They limited security and stirred up patriotic Americans, causing a riot. All the feds had to do was set up no-scale fencing, which they did. And Mayor Bowser could have accepted Trump's offer of 10,000 National Guard. The left wanted January 6th to be a riot. The left used Trump supporters who have never been in a riot to act on emotion due to a stolen election. The left put the safety and the lives of Trump supporters and police alike in jeopardy. We were all pawns in a political chess game. January 6th became a false flag event, much like the Governor Whitmore kidnapping in Michigan. Using a biased mainstream media, the left would exaggerate the January 6th protest as an insurrection. They would try to use this to stop Trump from running again in 2024. Needless to say, it didn't have the outcome they were hoping for. So there's a little bit of a prequel to Persecuted Patriots letter that he sent in. We're working on getting a website set up and also a Gift and Go. And I can say as somebody else, if they're in Northern Neck or around the country, something that you're going to want to see.
You have 1 minute remaining.
That you won't see anywhere else. So definitely look forward to that. I want to thank all the Patriots out there in Northern Neck and around the country that are listening. We're at our next countdown at Dominic Box number 387-287 here in Salt DC. Go on free up something spoken. Everybody. Thank you. And this is Chris Franklin, 8835. I've been here about 2.5 years. After 15 years being faithful, happy divorce coming along, I guess. Ladies, we're single. So, everyone, listen, we love you guys. Northern Neck, thank you so much. Patriots, we love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And my great kid Cat, keep hanging in there.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We can use that to protect ourselves. I think the camera will be
If it's
fine.
necessary, it's open. We can stand under it for a few minutes. That's all it's going to be, anyways.
Yeah, we'll have to put it over the camera.
I have two other umbrellas. So everyone, sorry about that. Cell signal is not very good tonight either, apparently.
Because of the moisture in the air.
Oh, really?
And the fact that we're located here. But yeah, moisture in the air tends to screw with radio reception. If we put this over here, it's going to chop off the top of our stuff.
Well,
It's okay. It's going to pass by so fast, it's not even...
I hope so. I mean, we can cover this stuff if that's what you're worried about, and then we can use the ladies can use those.
Okay, well, well, by God, I was able to pull that off. Looks like I didn't screw up the view. How awesome is that?
It's going to start to rain.
That's okay. We're covered.
We won't melt.
That's a fact.
I'm covered now too.
Yeah, that'll work.
It doesn't cut any off any of the view
That
either.
works fine.
Yeah.
But you got things taken care of.
It gets heavier, we'll all crunch underneath.
You guys can. I'm gonna sit out here and.
I think I'd like a cup of tea.
Here, have a cup.
It's a tea party.
Oh my God, we're not even in Boston. That was, Tea Party was kind of a big deal back in the day. And I read stuff sometimes and
Cup of tea?
I
Oh, nothing.
don't need it.
Cup of tea, Jean? I'm good.
Is that a Gina and a Jean? Is that the way this works?
We're in a news.
I feel like Michael Jackson should sing a song or something. That would be a Billie Jean.
Billy Jean.
An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $26.93. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link. Hey, this is Jared Owens. This is Tom.
Hey, Jared. Yeah, it's Tom, and you've got a small group out here tonight, but happy to hear you call.
Oh man, I'm so grateful for you guys.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
It just started to do a little bit of very slight rain, but we think it's going to miss us.
Oh, well, I hope so. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, just been going in here. I think we're all kind of secretly hoping that the holidays will just come and go. And just get back to, it's just a little extra weight on everything whenever you're thinking about, holidays past and what's going on out there. But my family, my wife, she brought the baby back from Tennessee back to our family in Missouri, and they're all hanging out for New Year's Eve, and I'm getting to hear about that, and it's cool.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, they haven't seen each other, since I got arrested. My wife needed extra help with the baby, so she had to go to Tennessee with her parents. And our house is in Missouri, so she just came back, and she's there with my older son and my brother and his wife and their kids. They were broken-hearted. They got really attached to the baby, so they're all loving on each other and sharing a meal and everything now. So that makes me really happy.
Yeah, that's great they can do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I heard you guys. Somebody put together a Christmas tree. Is that a true statement?
It is. It was really cool. I think they had the green and with the I guess we bullet paper ornaments, all different colors. It really put a smile on my face when I woke up and saw that. I was like, man, that's neat. Yeah, we had a pretty decent, like, spirits stayed high over Christmas, I felt like. We were singing carols, and it was just a pretty good day. We made some food together, and
Heard about the pizza.
I don't know. It was neat that they can't really take that from us, you know. That's why I was telling them, I was like, man, it's important to, I tried to volunteer as much as I could, and we can't let them take this kind of stuff from us, you know. So we're just gonna celebrate Christmas and have some fellowship, and don't have to like it, but.
Yeah, but you're right. Those simple things are the things that they cannot take away, and they can't, at least not yet, cannot get inside of your head. So, yeah, stay strong and get solace from all of that.
Oh, my goodness. And, yeah, and like all the news stories we saw in here, it's just trying to dismantle Christmas at every turn, like more than ever. Like, I've never seen it this bad. You know, like I saw a news story about a school that told their bus drivers they couldn't decorate their buses or wearing kind of Christmas sweaters or anything unless it was like holiday neutral or whatever, you know. And I'm like, oh, geez.
Right, I saw that same story, but they promoted Pride Day, right? That was perfectly okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Exactly. But it just shows you how much they're afraid of Christ.
I never thought about it that way, but that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, that just reassures that, you know, our team's winning. You know, they let it slide for a long time, but I had a visitor today named AJ, and that was really cool. That's only the second visit I've been on, but it's just really cool to meet the J6 family on visitation day. It's just cool to see. I was talking to somebody the other day about I felt like I'm having a lot, you know. It's like I see all the good things going on around me, but I just kind of started feeling down and stuff, and you know, when Elijah's in the cave, God's like, hey, what's wrong, you know? And then reminds him that there's a remnant in Israel still, that there's still people out there outside of the cave that are still solid and on track. And whenever I just thought of all the J6 supporters out there. How you guys are kind of our 7,000. You know, sometimes in here it's easy to feel sorry for yourself, but you know, we're still pulling this together. So.
Well, that's a nice analogy, because you're right. There are so many people. We get all these people that write in on the live stream, and you know, it really is a family. They get to know one another. They're getting to know us. We're getting to know them, and that's just a small spattering of the people that are supporting you guys. And just always remember that it's probably way larger than you can even imagine.
Oh, for sure. You know. I know the Christmas sweaters I was getting, it was coast to coast. You know, from California to all the way over here to North Carolina, up the Northeast and down to Florida and all in between. And if anybody wrote me, I'm just waiting on some stamps, but I will write you back. I just want to let you know. Oh man, the letters are so awesome though. They don't get them
they like get stuck down in the mailroom, and then they'll come in like a big pile, just avalanche of letters. So I thought I was doing good. I had a good little stash of stamps, and then one avalanche came through, and then another avalanche came right behind it. So I'm just waiting on the stamps to come, and I'll be getting back with everybody. But I really appreciate getting the letters that I get, and I know the other guys do too.
Well, hey, I got to ask you, is that part of commissary? You have to pay for those, or do you get a lot of them, pens and stationery? How's all that work?
No. So we have to buy the stamps, but they do have envelopes they give us. We have to buy the pens, but really there's so many pens going around. If somebody needs a pen, they just got to ask for it. The stationery, somebody gave me some whenever I first got here, but it's not very expensive. That we've got to buy pretty much all that on the commissary too. But I mean, just everybody here is pretty good about meeting the needs of people. As long as you got to get out there and ask for it. Nobody can read your mind, but everybody here is pretty good about taking care of any need that might come up. Another.
Well, somebody was.
The stamp thing, I didn't buy near enough, which is a problem I like having, because that means I've got a bunch of letters.
Yeah, that's great. Great. So how's everybody holding up health-wise? I'm feeling I'm just coming out of a few days of sore throat and sniffles and all that, but it's just really wears you down. So how are you guys holding up?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a couple of guys that are complaining about having the sniffles, but I'd say that's all past us pretty good. We just I'm looking around. Everybody looks like they're doing pretty good today. There's a moment left. We got a couple of guys that talk to us on a regular basis. We're carrying around a roll of toilet paper in their pocket. But I haven't caught anything yet. Knock on wood.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah, I felt like I ran into all the little bugs early in the season back home, so I think I'm ahead of the game on that.
Oh, good. Well, I always think about you from the stories, that I hear about how hard it is to get any kind of medicine. And I was joking with somebody else about that. He said, "Oh, we get it, but it's usually 6 weeks after we ask for it."
Yeah. Yeah, the best thing you can do is just try to anticipate everything and ask for it in advance. Oh my gosh. I'm under like a lot of stress. Like I'll grind my teeth when I sleep, so I ask for like a tooth guard. And let's see, we're going on about 5 weeks waiting for that. I've actually mellowed out and don't get it anymore, but yeah, it's gonna be one of those things. It'll show up maybe. I don't even know if it'll show up. I've asked for a refill for my ibuprofen. See, I'm going on the 2nd week of asking for that, and we're still waiting. So these holidays, I mean, this jail is kind of a bare bones operation. It seems like. Like we went down to visiting today, and they're like, "Guys, bear with us. We've only got a couple of us down here. We're gonna try to get you in and out as quick as we can, but just have patience with us." I'm like, "All right." And it seems like anytime, if I got to go to court or whatever, or any kind of movement around the jail, it's just a big deal. They can't ever. It seems like everybody's got their plates full and nobody wants to help. So I don't know if that's the same way for the medical but.
Well, it seems like that's just the way the holidays are anyway. Out here too, I find that everything seems to slow down.
Well, I mean, even in construction back home, we're having trouble finding like people that actually wanted to work anyway. I think like the whole COVID era thing spoiled a lot of folks. And working from home and all that kind of business, kind of got people.
Yeah, Jared, what do you do for a living?
Oh, construction.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
Concrete guy.
Concrete? Yeah.
Yeah.
So flat work, foundations, what kind?
Yeah, well, we did a lot of pavement repairs and sidewalks and curbs, a lot of stuff like that. Just along the roadway. I worked for a company that replaced the water mains up in St. Louis. So whatever they tore up, we come back and fix it.
Okay.
That was our main gig. But yeah, we had a lot of odds and ends going on. But that was the main thing. It was do something different when I get out of here. I remember the doctor saying before I left that he didn't want me doing concrete anymore because my knees were so bad. I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then here I am, so all the time think about it.
Yeah, well, that's a hard trade on your knees, and as is flooring and anything else. I've been in construction my whole career, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, but I love it. I love at the end of the day being able to turn around and be like, wow, see where you're. I couldn't imagine. Like my wife, she does office work. I'm like, I was telling her I couldn't imagine coming in, and then when you leave, you can't turn around and say, okay, I did this. Maybe your little stack's shorter. Your little stack of papers is shorter or whatever. Oh yeah, that was good.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the saying that the best view of a job is
1 minute remaining.
the best view of a job is the rearview mirror?
Yeah, we always say, well, I can't see it from my house. I mean,
Right.
hey, I give Cisco real quick.
Yes, please.
Okay, my give Cisco is giveandgo.com. GBARV, Golf Bravo, Alpha Romeo Victor. My name's Jared Owens, and it's a pleasure talking to you guys, and thank you for being out there for us.
Thank you, Jared.
I will get on the list. Talk to you guys next week. I enjoyed it so much.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Bless you.
Happy New Year!
All right. Bye.
Thank you for using Global Tele.
He beat her.
He beat her by a second.
Good job.
So,
Jared Owens.
Mother Nature has decided that nice gap of sunshine that I showed you earlier, that's not on our future.
We're going to get soaked.
We're going to get drenched.
Well,
Enjoy these few raindrops now.
we can.
Maybe I'll put it in the back.
Getting drenched.
You're not?
Your call, boss.
Well, one of the things we could do maybe is just pull down some of our stuff like this. Everybody knows what it looks like and is all about. So.
Yeah.
All right, we're hearing it's going to rain, so we're going to take down and pack up some of the things to make a quicker dash to the car if we need to.
I know where I'm gonna sit.
Sorry, guys. I guess it followed you.
Yeah, we knew it was gonna catch up.
This one's coming from Richmond.
Oh, is it?
If we were bowling, it would be a strike.
This is a prepaid call from
James Grant.
Oh, James.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is $25.23. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hey, James.
Hey, Tom, what's going on?
Voice.
Yes, sir. Yes, I've got big news. I guess a big request. So I don't know if anyone's heard on the DC Vigil. It's James Grant. It's good to be back, you guys. I haven't talked to Northern Neck, my Virginia folks, in a long time. But so I've got everything's coming to its climax. I get my verdict back this Thursday, and as I think I might have mentioned, there's footage out there of me stopping someone from breaking windows, and I know it would be huge. It's really exculpatory evidence because it would help exonerate me on the 1512 charge. Because if you're trying to claim I'm obstructing a proceeding, an official proceeding of some kind, obviously I wouldn't stop people from breaking windows. So I think, on that note, it is literally exculpatory evidence, and I think I kind of have a right to it. But I haven't been able to look at really anything from January 6th. I've had my discovery at times. But, they have not afforded us a look at the Global Discovery Project. The government has, so they claimed, compiled this whole Global Discovery Project with all the footage from January 6th on it. But I personally haven't had access to it. So I need to request, this is something everyone could do, and I would be eternally grateful. But I need somehow to find this footage. So I know exactly when it happened and where it happened, and I can give you guys all the clues to help make it happen, but I need your guys' help. I don't have access to this video. I know a bunch of new footage has been released, so footage of me going up to someone who's using a small object to break a window on the outside of the building of the Capitol, and I go up to him, and you can see me motioning to stop breaking the window. And another gentleman comes up and also assists me in stopping the guy from breaking a window. And so this happened on the very top level of the Capitol. Like if you're looking at it from above, right on the white, like the white part of the building. I think it's called officially level 2, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the very top level. It's above the crypt. It's above the tunnels. It's the top floor of the actual Capitol when you can climb no more steps. On the west side, the side where everything happened. It happened just before 2:49 p.m. So that's the time I entered through a window in the Capitol, and I entered the building. So it would have to my memory, it happened just before that. So if anyone could look on level 2, the outside top of the Capitol, just before 2:49, you will see me, tall, thin. I'm wearing all black, Nike shoes, Adidas pants, a coat, and a black baseball hat, kind of mesh hat. It's like black and white, and gloves. Tall and thin. I don't think I had my gator on at that point, so I wasn't wearing a mask or anything. And again, tall and thin, you'll see me go up to someone and try to stop them from breaking windows just before 2:49. It has to be somewhere in the 10 minutes or so before 2:49. Again, top floor of the Capitol. And about 40 feet, I would say, to the right of the window that many people entered. And then you'll see me enter 2:49. It might make the most sense to find me at 2:49 entering the window and then work from there. Obviously, James Grant, you can see what I was wearing that day in the infamous Ray Epps video. I'm a little bit to the left of Ryan Sampson and Ray Epps. I'm a good bit to the left. I'm the young man, tall, thin, wearing all black. And if you have any footage of this or any footage you think could help or possibly be this footage, you can send it to my dad. Send it to grantclan@yahoo.com. That's grantclan, one word, GRANTCLAN @yahoo.com. And we'll look through it. And I forgot to add, we have a bounty of $1,000 if you can help us find that footage. The first person who sends it, if we can get that verified, we will get you out $1,000. It's really important to me. I know this would directly get me time back in my life. It would help me on certain charges, and with all the release footage, it just would mean everything. So if anyone out there could keep an eye out for that, you can send that to grantsclan@yahoo.com. But unfortunately, because of the situation, I've got to request the public try to help me with this one.
Well, that's a.
But yeah, Tom, if anyone could help with that, that would be massive.
All right, and I'll let you repeat that again, you know, because I think people might be trying to write it down or whatever, but the time, location, and then where to send it.
Okay. So 2:49 Eastern Time is when I entered. It's when I entered the actual Capitol building. You're going to see me tall, thin, wearing all black baseball hats, gloves, just everything black except for the hat, which is black and white. Tall, thin, and that's 2:49 is when I entered the actual Capitol building. So I'd recommend sometime before that, sometime at 2:40, probably 2:30 to be safe, to 2:49. Sometime in that 19 minutes, it has to have been that you see me walking up to someone on the outside of the Capitol building on the very top floor, just before 2:49. And sometime in that 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, you'll see me go up to someone about 40 feet, maybe 40 yards to the right, to my recollection. If you're looking at the building from the inauguration stage, it is to the right of the window that I and many other people entered. I think it's officially called Level 2, and yeah, I mean, if you could just find even a still shot, I would recommend, you know, I haven't actually had any personal experience with looking for it, but to me it makes sense to look at the CCTV footage, if there's any of that on the actual building, on the Capitol building, any cameras like that. I would just watch all those, and even if it's, you know, anything you can get, that would help massively. And yeah, just even, you know, that'll help a lot. We can get that verified. And again, if you have any footage of that or anything you think might help, and if we can verify that you have the footage, again, we'll get you at $1,000. We'll get you paid out. GrantClan@yahoo.com. Yeah, it would be huge, and it would help me get some of my life back. And we've only got till Thursday to get this done, so we got 6 days. Where my lawyer's going to ask the judge not to rule on the 1512 charge, because that's well, he's mainly asking that because it's up in the Supreme Court right now.
Right.
But also, but also it's going to help for that. If I could get just a little more time to find this. You know, a woman from Falls Church, Virginia. Again, you guys from Virginia have been awesome. She emailed my dad, and she found me inside the Capitol. So, you know, we're finding me. We just, and it's just frustrating because I feel like the government has this footage or has seen it at some point,
yes,
but they're
they
not
do.
making it easy. Again, I don't want to, you know, just lob accusations, but I feel like someone at some level has come across it. So I don't know why, you know, I don't know why it's been this difficult.
Well,
And if they had just let me look through the footage this whole time that I've been sitting in jail for 2 years, I'd like to believe I would have already found it. But, you know, multiple people have told me personally, Tom, that they've seen this footage and that it does exist. So
I remember seeing
I know it's out there.
exactly what he's describing.
yeah. So, what was the the supposed resource you guys were supposed to have access to that you mentioned earlier on? Because I've heard that before.
Yeah, the evidence.com
Yeah.
or the Global Discovery Project.
Evidence.com. Yeah. So, it sounds like that. I have not gone on there to look at that. I don't know if I can, but it sounds like it's certainly not what it was cracked up to be.
Yeah, no, I mean during one of my many meetings that were like status hearings, I had a really pretty prosecutor, Hava Morel, and she was going on about the Global Discovery Project, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. Can I view it? But she was just thrown onto the case that week. They were switching out prosecutors until they eventually found the team that they gave us. It was just, yeah, it was such a weird experience going through this. You know, I'm dying there in Northern Neck, and then I get dragged down to the computer room every once in a while just to get some bad news every now and then. And it was never good news. I think it was weird. I've actually started to get some decent news, and things have gotten better since I've been in D.C. But I mean, just everything was going wrong when we were at Northern Neck. I mean, not only is your living situation bad, but yeah, that's about the time, you know, when January 6ers were getting more and more time, and that's when my lawyer told me that I'd be in the guideline range of, I think, 7.5 to 9 years. I remember exactly where I was when he broke that news to me, and it was July 7th of 2022, 2 days after my birthday. And yeah, I was already really, you know, down and depressed at that time, but it hadn't sunk in, the, you know, ridiculous situation. And I remember him saying they offered a plea that was like level 29, which was like 8 years. And, you know, I showed up a law, you know, I took the LSAT 10 days after January 6th also. But yeah, I showed up to January 6th, a law student, and, applying to law schools, and, I push a fence, and, the next thing I know, they're charging me with assault with a deadly weapon, and yeah, it just got progressively worse, and it's like everyone lost their mind, as you've seen, and it was really disappointing because a lot of Republicans even came out against us, and like Hannity and guys I'm not real fond of anymore at all. Kind of remind me of the Rhino archetype. And I remember Tucker Carlson was good. He was one of the people that did not outright condemn us, and it's really frustrating, Tom, because I know now that holds are getting poked in January 6th, and if the Supreme Court comes back on this 1512 charge and they find it, which they should, I hope they find the correct ruling. But that'll be another blow to the January 6th narrative. And it's just frustrating because a lot of the people that condemned us are going to act like they knew January 6th was overblown and that there was, federal agents and the provocateurs. And they're going to act like they knew this the whole time. And it's really frustrating because you just know it's coming. I guess this kind of happens with every event that happens is people lose their mind at the beginning and then they kind of act like they know what's going on later. But it's just really frustrating when it's your neck on the line and it's your event, which, of course, I'm inextricably tied, like many others, to January 6th. And boy, how about this year coming up? I mean, the next time we talk, it'll be 2024. It's finally here. I mean, this is the year where it either happens or, boy, how about this? We got a crazy year ahead of us, huh, Tom?
We have a wonderful year ahead of us. I'm going to look at it that way. I think there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that is already happening, and you keep your spirits up. I know you got a lot going on right now, but more and more is coming to light. And yeah, if people want to claim that they were on the, maybe they were on the right side, but they weren't, fine. But we do need to hold some of these people accountable, and I think that goes down to, well, I won't go into that on the call, but I think there's a lot of people that need to be held accountable for the actions that they did or their inactions, frankly.
Yeah, inaction.
Right, yeah. No, it's, but it's going to be a crazy year ahead of us, and I share your optimism. I think it feels different, and man, I can't wait. It's finally here. I never thought it would get here, and it is going to be 2024. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Iowa caucus is the 15th of January, so that's like a little over 2 weeks.
Yes.
And right, is that correct?
Yes.
We're getting a yes. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for Maurice.
Yeah, so that's when it's going to be. That's going to get real at that point because there's all this talk about it, and I think a lot of people are a little, because of the implications with everything. I mean, you don't even want to go into hypotheticals. I don't think either side does, and I don't think a lot of talk show hosts. But the reality is they're pushing to put a sitting president, maybe a controversial one. But I mean, these are crazy steps that are being taken, and obviously not under the proper grounds. And I think it's exposing a huge flaw in the system, which is, I don't think you can have just random, especially in these divisive times, and also to protect the dignity of the office. You can't just have random prosecutors going after the president. We've only had 45 presidents in our country's entire history. You can't just have random, wayward prosecutors trying to attack the president with lawfare. You just, I think the way to do that is to go at, bring an impeachment charge, which they did for January 6th, and nothing happened, and he was acquitted. And I think when they bring charges against the president, one thing that really frustrates me is, are we not looking into the fact that, and remembering the fact that they brought false charges against the president with the whole Russiagate?
You have 1 minute remaining.
This young
I
man
mean,
needs to
that's
speak.
when charges get dismissed with prejudice, is when you bring, and it's like people have completely forgotten that. But again, yeah, I'm about to get cut off here. I got 1 minute left, but as always, it's a pleasure to talk to y'all. I got a Give Send Go, givesendgo.com/freejames. And again, if anyone can find that footage, grantsclan@yahoo.com. You can send it there. It would be a huge help. We got 6 days. I'm hoping to get that extended, and I'm hoping to have good news. Hopefully, it won't be necessary next week. But any footage that anyone finds, go ahead and send it to grantclan.com, grantclan@yahoo.com. And again, thank you guys for being out there. And we got a wild year ahead of us, and big things are coming. They're finally here. Thank you, Tom.
Happy
Thank
New
you,
Year.
James. Happy New Year.
You too. Appreciate it.
All right.
Love y'all. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
You know, he just made me think of something. Nobody's mentioned that whole. Remember, like almost all the way back to high school, there was this new rule: equal time.
Of what?
Equal time. For like campaigns, candidates. You know, the media had to give equal time. I don't know if that worked out here, but where I was living at the time, I remember hearing about it. Nobody's talking about that, and it's like they're not given equal time. There's no equal time. That by itself is
Right.
election interference. And he made me think of that. I don't know why.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
It was. It may not have been nationwide. It may have been just local, but I think I need to look it up and see what that is.
Did I hear thunder earlier?
Yes.
So how's your prognosis on the weather now? I hear it now. I almost told him we were going to have to scoot. I don't want to get in a downpour.
If it's yeah, it's coming. It's going to be a good downpour for a good 20-40 minutes.
How far out do you think it is?
It is currently just the other side of 17.
Oh. I think we wrap anyway, and then the anthem. Does that sound good, everybody? Thanks for coming up again, Gene.
Yeah, I'm okay not getting the anthem if it means not getting drenched.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's call it.
All right,
And,
I'm gonna put this down.
If they call in, I'll try to continue the.
I'm gonna have to be a little bit more careful.
So, folks, we're going to shut down early tonight here, I think, because it's not good to be soaking wet when you're sick. So, thanks everybody for tuning in,
I should do to make it move.
and Happy New Year.
Next Friday, I'm actually.
I'm going to shut it off.
Then I'll be back the next
Good
week.
night. God bless you all.
Well, you might want to move back.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
I've been
pour.
waiting for you to move because this thing's gonna drop rain on me.